Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Fairly recently, the United Kingdom and some other international bodies have been talking about the issue of rigging in Nigeria, and visa ban came into play. While some of our politicians have been banned, been given the visa ban, some of them, responded via, the government of Nigeria, saying that it was technically, should I call it an infringement on their sovereignty, that such ban shouldn't have taken place. They should have, done their consultation properly before arbitrarily issuing bans against them. It was more like looking down on their sovereignty and all that. Well, the United Kingdom have British Parliament and United Kingdom have responded over this matter, and it's quite an interesting one if you ask me. But before we go into the newspaper and further analysis, we do like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you'll see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the United Kingdom has said it was taken aback by the recent response of the federal government that it would consider disrespectful of the sovereignty of Nigeria for any outside authority to sit in judgment over the conduct of its citizens and apply punitive measures such as visa restriction unilaterally. Well, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Lanning, who spoke during an orientation program for people with disabilities seeking Chevening scholarship opportunities in the United Kingdom, said the United Kingdom absolutely respect the sovereignty of the Nigerian government, and it welcomed the fact that the Nigerian government were following up on any violence. Line further said the issue of visa restriction on perpetrators of electoral violence was the United Kingdom's visa policy, adding that the government of the United Kingdom can determine who travels to the country. It is our visa policy, the United Kingdom, and we can determine who comes to the United Kingdom. So that is a non-sovereign right. And all we are saying is that, in line with Nigerian policy, that those who commit violence or who incite violence, there may be an implication for that person when they apply for a visa in the United Kingdom. So I think it's actually completely consistent with the Nigerian policy. This is our visa policy. But obviously, it is for Nigeria to determine how they deal with these perpetrators in Nigeria. Line said. Recall that the United Kingdom had barely a day after the United States imposed visa restrictions on election offenders in the November 2019 Kogi and Bayelsa state elections, said it will impose visa restrictions on those involved in violence during the last Saturday Edo October election, and of course the October 10, 2020 Ondo state gubernatorial election. Following the threat, the federal government, in a statement by the spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ferdinand Nwonye, said it took note of the concerns of some of its partners, specifically the United States and the United Kingdom government, regarding the elections in Edo and Ondo states. The government also noted that both the United States and the United Kingdom expressed intention to take punitive measures against those they decide will be involved in what you termed as undermining democracy. The government further said there were ample provisions in its law to sanction violators and perpetrators of electoral violence and fraud, adding that it would be considered disrespectful of the sovereignty of Nigeria for any outside authority to sit in judgment over the conduct of its citizens and apply punitive measures such as visa restriction unilaterally. Asked if the United Kingdom will heed the Nigerian government response and drop such plans of imposing visa ban on the individuals, Line further said she was surprised with the response of the government. Line recalled that prior to the 2019 general election, the Nigerian government welcomed its policies adding that maybe the government probably assumed that its policy applied only to the People's Democratic Party alone. I'm surprised in the way they said this because before the last election, they welcomed our policy. Of course, they probably assumed it applied to only PDP individuals. This is not about what party is. It can be from any political party or indeed just an ordinary individual who is not a member of a party. So it has nothing to do with party politics, and I will hope the Nigerian government will see us as supporting them, as we intend was just a peaceful elections, as all we intend was just a peaceful election, Lion also said. On the award of Chevron Scholarship of Nigeria, Leon disclosed that many Nigerians have benefited over the years, putting the numbers in thousands, because the program has been running for a long time in the year. We are sending 49 and all that and all that. But let's quickly look at what Nigerians have said. This is quite an interesting one, if you ask me. Um, based on what Lion has said, it's really interesting. He said, as at the time PDP were on seat, when this policy was made, they all welcomed the idea. Everybody jumped at the idea. It's a nice idea. But fast forward to 2020, that policy now being put in play, it now looks, should I call it witch hunting? It now looks as if it's a disrespect to the sovereignty of the Nigerian state. But that's what we're saying, and that's what she's saying. But to start with, the country is our country. That's United Kingdom is a country. The visa is their visa. They can actually choose who they want into their country or not. That's actually, it has nothing to do with sovereignty. Okay, sovereign state of Nigeria or whatever. But in a way, just maybe they feel that Nigerians are kind of helpless. So they're trying to help. I don't know, but let's just feel what Nigerians are saying concerning this matter, because it's really getting interesting. Sometimes we should be careful. Sometimes we should be careful of some policies, because when you are outside the corridor of power, those those same policies become punitive. They become intimidating. They become domineering. They become oppressive. So that's why whenever you're in the corridor of power, make judgment or make policies that will be favorable to all, and not as if you are witch hunting a particular set. Because eventually, when you're out of the corridor of power, that same policy will begin to haunt you as well. But let's hear what Nigerians are saying. This one here is saying, I disagree with the UK ambassador to Nigeria, Mrs. Katrina Leon, for this statement credited to federal government of Nigeria as responding to violence. He said Katrina should hide her face, because Katrina, has never for once accepted nor make it known publicly that this crisis in Nigeria talk more of electoral rigors, banditry, Boko Haram, and IOS terrorist killings. And okay. What's one trying to say now? I said her zeal for money has blended to the truth. As a result, so that so to what is she saying? I don't understand what this person is saying, because it's actually not making sense. Is okay. Let's look for another person that's talking here, because this one here is saying good way to go. If they can continue like this, Nigeria may be safe from Nigerians. Okay, so here is saying, why is Nigerian government disturbed? The world now understand that Nigerian government way of conducting election is by violence, rigging, or any other dubious way that is contrary to that of the democratic rules. This is the Nigerian government is having. That's why the Nigerian government are having sleepless nights over this issue. This one here is saying all politicians from the president down to councillor level should be banned by the West and any responsible and civil authorities and government. Thank you, US and UK. I hope others will follow suit. When you say all politicians, I beg to differ. There are still some who really want these things to happen. They truly have the mandate of the people. But because of the way things are done, they know that if you don't rig it, they'll rig you out of it. So they try to, see how they can add a bit of rigging here and there. But if things are done natural, that is, policies are being followed, there's still some good people out there who really would like to contest. But the reason why they're not coming into politics, or they're not contesting for anything reasonable, is simply because they don't have the energy for the violence that follow, or the rigging, or the electioneering, or the politicking, and the vote buying that follows. Because these are like investment. And if you have invested in any venture, Like take for instance politicking or going into politics, you want to reap, not just get back your capital, you also want to reap dividend and profit. And that's why we keep seeing looting everywhere, because even politicking in Nigeria is an investment, it's a venture of its own, it's a business, in fact very capital intensive venture that yields very high returns, or you lose it all. It's like punting. So it's heavy, really. But one would say that the British government coming to help. To me, I don't think they've gone contrary. Besides, to start with, the country, the UK, have the right to decide who comes into their country or not. But that's we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our conversation. Do you agree with what UK is doing concerning the issue of visa ban, standing on the ground, or do you think they're taking it a bit too far and undermining sovereignty of Nigeria as the government